Jann Wenner, who is the co-founder of Rolling Stone, had an interview with the Times because he got this book called The Masters. And so Jann Wenner, which I should call him Jann Wenner, right? he had the kind of nerve to say, and I think he said this because he feels like he had said somewhere during the Times interview that I guess he's old-fashioned, you know what I'm saying? And he doesn't care about what anybody thinks, and I guess he just speaks how he feels. And so he's basically saying that a lot of black musicians and women musicians were just not articulate enough, I guess, to do an interview with him. But also I noticed in the interview he mentioned something about it was more so, I guess he chose and he picked for the magazine, for Rolling Stone, he picked artists that he had more of a personal interest and a personal love of them. So it wasn't necessarily, from what I'm getting, it wasn't necessarily for the people to some degree. It was more so his own personal interest, picking and choosing whoever he chose to interview for Rolling Stone. But anyway, so he, disrespected, I think, many of them, like saying, Stevie Wonder, genius, right? Stevie Wonder is a genius. To write the kind of songs that Stevie Wonder has written all of these years, especially during that time in Stevie's prime, Stevie Wonder is a genius songwriter, and he has a beautiful mind, as we've seen for many years, you know what I'm saying? I think he also mentioned, maybe Marvin Gaye would have been that guy that I guess blew him away during an interview. Maybe Otis Redding, if Otis Redding had lived long enough. But my thing is, when you say articulate enough, like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm confused at that. Like, you couldn't see that many of these artists had a level of being able to articulate themselves, to present themselves, to show their sense and their level of intelligence. Black musicians are not idiots. Look at Prince. Throughout the most of his career, Prince really did push a lot of artists to understand their contracts and to look into their contracts and to read through them, to pay attention to the fact that many of these labels could be just using you to make profit off of you, and they're not going to really, they're not really worried about or concerned about how much profit you're making. You know what I'm saying? The label's really worried about their investment, getting their return on their investment, getting a profit, and moving on. You know what I'm saying? So Prince spent most of his career, highlighting this to a lot of artists, and he was very much an advocate for independent artists and independent music. So was Prince not articulate enough? I'm confused, because he was definitely a master. This book that Jann Wenner has is called The Masters. Prince was definitely a master of his craft. Was Michael Jackson not a master of his craft? Michael Jackson knew what he wanted to be, where he wanted to go, what he wanted with his sound, his artistry, his look, everything. And Michael made it happen. I mean, you gotta be pretty intelligent and really know how to articulate yourself to reach that kind of level and that height. So I don't know what this dude is talking about. You know what I'm saying? When you heard, Whitney Houston speak during interviews, Whitney did not sound like an idiot. Whitney sang very clearly, very strong, with all that power, and during interviews she spoke very well. I don't recall her speaking. At some point later on in Whitney's career, Whitney, got a little she became a little out there. She was, she was pushing it a little bit, I guess, because she was really trying to prove something to a certain group of people that I feel she shouldn't have had to prove. But anyway, Whitney is no idiot. Michael, no idiot. Prince, no idiot. Stevie Wonder, no idiot. And anyway, when you talk about the Rolling Stones, Rolling Stone magazine, if I'm not mistaken, I guess people say that, it was named after Bob Dylan's Rolling Stone song or whatever, but I'm like, I think it was named after Muddy Waters. Rolling Stone song. And you know, that was, you know, Muddy Waters, that was like a Catfish Blues song. And he Muddy Waters obviously was a legend in the game. I mean, you know, with that name, and I think even the band got that name from that song Rolling Stone by Muddy Waters. But I think sometimes people like this Wenner guy, who, by the way, he ended up selling Rolling Stone magazine. I think him and the co-founder, who was a music critic, ended up selling the magazine in 2017. They founded it in 1967. They ended up selling it in 2017 or 2019 or whatever it was. And since then, you know, who knows what's really been going on. Rolling Stone has really just been putting out these, you know, 500 greatest albums of all time, 20 best singers or something. They even did a list, I think, of rappers, if I'm not mistaken. That kind of shocked me too, but I think by the time they did that, which was a few years ago, it was already taken over by somebody else. So I don't think he had anything to do with that. And I would kind of like to know how he felt about Rolling Stone doing a top 20 or whatever, 50 greatest rappers. I don't know if I think it was specifically Rolling Stone. I gotta look that up. But back to the whole point of this man disrespecting black artists and musicians, women musicians. You know, when Janet Jackson got her, you know, induction into the rock, I think it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know, Janet pointed out that, you know, more women musicians need to be inducted, need to be, you know, highlighted, respected. Janet has had a great career. Janet, as we know, she's another one. Janet, as we know, when she speaks in interviews and she talks about her inspiration for music or whatever it is, that whatever she got the inspiration from, she never sounds like she's inarticulate, like she doesn't know what she's talking about. She always sounds like she, you know, she's well educated. She has a clear sense of what she's doing and what she's trying to do with her music. That's another one, Janet Jackson. So with this guy kind of saying these things, I don't know. I mean, of all, for him to say that in his world, I'm surprised. Well, I guess to some degree, some people feel in his world, I guess, that Madonna is, maybe she's just too wild and crazy and she's controversial and she's all over the place. While that may be true to some degree, she's been like that throughout her career. And I know she was like fighting and arguing with Piers Morgan from, you know, in the UK or whatever, from time to time. But Madonna, when she does those interviews, Madonna does not sound like she's, you know, she's an idiot. Like she don't understand 2 + 2. She doesn't know how, you know, she can't understand what a noun and a verb is. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't know the difference. Madonna speaks as if she knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing. She even, I think many people throughout the years look at her, they know that she knows what she's doing. And she's done this her whole career to get attention, to build controversy, and to build this mega empire that she has. I don't think it gets more articulate or intelligent than that. More, I definitely want to invite you to my store, Don Jaymor Clothing, and see some of the merch that I got up there. I recently got one of my shirts made, and it's on my store. It's a Be Like Water t-shirt, and Be Like Water is a term that I was very much inspired by, with the great Bruce Lee basically saying, "Be water, my friend," because you know, life is, you know, with life you're being dealt with so much, you know, so much obstacles, so many things are gonna come your way, you know what I'm saying? And in your journey throughout life, you're gonna experience a lot of, you know, pitfalls, a lot of ups and downs, you know, boulders kind of running in your way, blocking your path, rain, all kinds of storms, hurricanes, whatever it is. And, you know, I feel like if you kind of be fluid like water and you become more open-minded and you adapt and you learn to adapt to different situations, this will help you be more in control. Yeah, so yeah, definitely check out DonJaymorClothing.com.